Welcome back. The vote on the fiscal framework and revenue proposals in the National Assembly has exposed big cracks in the government of national unity. The DA's position in the GNU is now uncertain after the party distanced itself from the ANC-led coalition, voting against the budget. This move has sparked concerns about the long-term viability of the GNU as the ANC managed to pass the budget with support from the smaller parties like Action SA as well as the IFP. Now, the DA is heading to court, saying it will do everything it can to ensure that the VAT increase doesn't go ahead. Political scientist from the Northwest University, that's Professor Andre Duvenage, joins us now to give us his perspective. Prof, good to have you on the program this evening. Firstly, how do you interpret the DA's decision to vote against the budget? Was this a principled stand or a political miscalculation, especially in the context of the GNU?
Good evening, Tlandla and the viewers. I think it was a general political decision. It was not focused only on the VAT increase. It had to do with a lot of decisions taken by the Government of National Unity with regard to the Bella Bill, the Expropriation Act, National Health Insurance, and so on. And I think as a result of that, there was a level of mistrust developing between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. But I do not think it was a misjudgment on their side. I think it was a deliberate action to show their position within the Government of National Unity and to show to the ANC that they cannot govern on their own. They need to act within the context of coalition politics and within the parameters of a Government of National Unity.
You cite a mistrust that could be brewing, but interesting, the ANC has described the DA's actions as a complete betrayal, if you will. Do you believe this reflects a deeper ideological incompatibility, especially within the GNU, from what we are seeing from these parties?
Well, there's no doubt that from the beginning, there were fundamental ideological life and worldview differences between specifically the Democratic Alliance and the ANC. The ANC on the one side, focusing on centralization, a more socialist, transformational type of approach. And on the other side, the DA going with the philosophy of a minimum government, individualistic rights, human rights type of approaches, developmental in its orientation, and also free market orientated. And these are fundamental differences when it comes to laws like the Bella Act, like expropriation without compensation and others. So the ideological differences were there, but they made the strategic decision to continue despite of the differences.
Right.
But at this point, they develop a level of mistrust, and it's going to be difficult to bridge this at the moment. Therefore, the next, I think, 72 hours is going to be critical for the survival of the Government of National Unity.
It's going to be a difficult bridge to pass, but given the ANC's language that the DA has pushed itself out of the GNU, do you foresee an actual breakup of this arrangement, or is this another strategic public scolding of these parties?
Well, I think it's dependent on a number of factors, and I'm going to mention a few critical factors at this point. What is happening behind the scenes in negotiations between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance? At the moment, it is leadership negotiations, and one of the questions coming from this is, can Mr. Ramaphosa deliver the ANC in terms of an agreement? I have seen communication indicating that there are conflict within the structures of the ANC and specifically implicating senior political figures. So there's an internal problem in the ANC. Then we also have the court case of the Democratic Alliance questioning the outcome of the decision about the budget and the work of the committee, and in a way also the legitimacy to change the taxation in terms of taxation without representation principle. So there's a number of factors playing a role. Then also the decisions coming from the president himself. But I think the most likely scenario at this point is that we are closing to the end of the government of national unity. And my take is that we are entering a very uncertain phase in South African politics, and we have seen that already within the markets in South Africa over the past 48 plus hours.
Right. Prof, it then begs the question as to what does it mean for governance, especially if key ministers from the DA remain in cabinet, yet their party rejects the very budget that funds those departments. Is this tenable?
Well, I think we are not very known to the environment of coalition politics. Sometimes you are getting these contradictions. Parties may disagree without losing positions. I think at the moment, the main thing is about the so-called moral high ground. The DA is not going to resign themselves, but if Ramaphosa will force them towards resignation, they may argue that we did the utmost to save South Africa from a number of things, but now it is impossible. And then we may see counteractions coming from motions of no confidence. We can see a motion of no confidence in the president. We can also see a motion of no confidence in government and or parliament. And the latter may end up in some sort of an early election as a possible outcome. So a number of things can change. And then there's still an open question, will the ANC be able to reconstruct a coalition that can achieve easily a majority of 200 plus 1? These are times of uncertainty, and to make the uncertainty even more, there's a lot of dynamics playing itself out on an international level involving South Africa, and specifically the relationship between South Africa and the United States of America, also linked towards Iran, Israel, the international courts, and so on. So it's a very dynamic and unpredictable environment we are in at the moment.
It's very unpredictable, but does this moment then raise questions about the legitimacy or even the coherence of the GNU itself, especially given the lack of formal coalition agreements here?
Well, I think one of the big problems in South African politics on all levels is that we do not have proper legislation to deal with coalitions. It seems as if we have the type of agreements between leaders or among leaders or between parties among parties, but there are no general rules that can define coalitions and how they should operate. What is the nature of the agreement? How binding is it, etc. In that sense, I think we need to further develop and refine the rules of the political game. So that is a general problem we need to address. But then the reality is also there that coalition politics in its basic nature is more unstable than a one-party dominant system we have seen since 1994. In that sense, we may expect instability. And we have seen that recently in established democracies like Germany, also in Canada, and in other places on a regular basis like Israel and so on. So in that sense, it is not new to democracies, but we still need to develop the culture as well as the structure to operate in a coalition environment, especially where there's major ideological differences among partners.
I want to explore the scenarios that you touched on earlier on. If the DA, for instance, exits or is sidelined from this GNU, what potential configurations do you foresee, Prof? Could we see a pivot toward Action SA or the IFP, as we've learned in recent times, or even the Patriotic Alliance as a more cooperative partner for the ANC?
I think there's a name we sometimes used in politics. They refer to it as ANC Light. There's a number of smaller parties together with a party like the IFP and the Gayton McKenzie group, the Patriotic Alliance. I think they will be part. But the problem is, will that be enough to secure a safe vote? I think at best, it will go towards a borderline type of scenario. Therefore, I believe that the ANC will negotiate with one of the stronger parties. And I won't be surprised if there will be talks between the ANC and the EFF. It's also clear to me that there are factions within the ANC that is very much pro-EFF rather than pro-Democratic Alliance. And we know what happened in Gauteng. And in a way, the Gauteng model may become the model in which the ANC will try to govern South Africa on a national level.
Prof, we have run out of time, but before I let you go, there's also talk of a possible reshuffle. Do you anticipate the president making bold moves here, or will he try to preserve a fragile unity, if you will, for as long as possible?
Well, I think he is, at least on the short term, he's not going to make major changes. We have seen that President Ramaphosa is relatively consistent when it comes to cabinet appointments. But I have no doubt that if the Democratic Alliance is going to exit, he won't have a choice. And I believe he's going to fill these positions with people coming from the parties we just mentioned. But I don't think the president at this point in time will take steps that will bring more uncertainty to political processes.
That was Professor Andre Duvenhage, a political scientist from the Northwest University, helping us to unpack these growing tensions that we are seeing within the GNU.